Oh, you ready to do some boot shopping?
I am. Boots and hats.
Oh, let me do this. Hey, there's Jamie and Molly. Want to pick them up?
Well, I guess we could.
So while we're going on our way to boot shopping, why don't you tell us a little bit about your breeding programs?
Well, I got into Longhorns, I guess, about 10 years ago. And I started out with commercial cattle first. So I had Herefords and Black Baldies to start out with. And then from there, it's kind of the typical Longhorn story. You get one and you really like them and they're addictive, and you get some more, and then you get rid of all those, and then you get kind of decide what you really want to do with them. But I enjoy the marketing part of it.
What about you, Nancy?
Oh, I've been in it since the late 80s. Originally got started just with roping cattle because we have a team roping family. And then just got interested in the genetics and the breed in general and all those characteristics that endear them to us. And then I gradually went from all unregistered to all registered. So I've been doing it for a really long time. And I also have a commercial beef cow background. So I had cattle, grew up around cattle and had cattle long before the Longhorns.
Kathy, is there somebody that when you first got started or even now that's inspired you or has helped you with the Longhorns?
Well, when I got started, I really made a point to buy, one cow from one person and another cow from another person, and that's kind of how I got to know the people in the industry. I tried to do that so that I started going to events where that they could put a face with my name and just instead of loading up with cows from one particular person. Colonel Bill Leanne, he used to be a really big influence on me as far as just encouraging me to do what I was doing, and he would always get tickled at the stuff that I was able to find and then keep and market and resell. And when I did well with one, he was always kind of proud of me for doing that. But a lot, I think, as I got going into it and met Jimmy and Nancy, and I got to see how that they work with a smaller group of animals and really focus on making those animals be productive, and saw what you can accomplish with a smaller number of animals. I think that's probably impressed me and encouraged me, and as much as anything. You don't have to have 400 head animals to have really good ones in there.
What about you, Nancy?
Well, when I first got started, I really didn't realize there were a lot of other Longhorn breeders out there. So I sort of struggled by myself initially, just doing the cattle because I loved them and I was attracted to the breed and sort of doing my own thing. But fortunately, I got hooked up with Jimmy Jones and Terry King, who were both in the Southeast and fairly close to me, and was able to learn from the generosity mainly of Jimmy and the breeding program that he's been working on tirelessly for all these years. And he's a genius when it comes to genetics and studying and pedigrees. And I knew what type cattle appealed to me as far as the look, the size, the conformation, just certain traits that really attracted me to them. But I had to learn the genetics, and Jimmy is an excellent teacher. He's the most unselfish person I've ever met as far as with his time and his information. He was then, he still is today. He's helped many breeders. So I would have to say that he certainly has been instrumental in me being where I am. I bought a lot of really old, proven producing cows from him to start my foundation herd with. And I am an advocate of buying cattle that are really proven as producers. Most of the cattle I have in my herd now, after all these years, I raised and add outside genetics, really with the bulls. But the cow herd, I believe, has to be pretty stable, consistent, trustworthy, producers. In addition to Jimmy, I would have to say Bill and Sue Burton, Mr. John and Helen Stockton are dear people to me. They've spent many, many years perfecting an absolutely magnificent herd and great genetics, and I have the highest respect for them. Of course, Bob Loomis has provided us with a lot of genetics on bulls and been really, really good to us as far as sharing those genetics with us, and as well the Bolins. Of course, we have 50-50, and really proud of him, and he's taken us all so far, and the Bolins raised him, and we're happy to be in a partnership with them. So gosh, there's just so many people out there that that I respect, that have helped me along the way. That's the good thing about our breed too, is just the people. We're like one big Longhorn family, and that's really special to me.
So what would you say that the goals are of each of your breeding programs?
I think for me, as far as animals have got to be structurally correct, and I think a lot of that comes from I look at my herd with my commercial cattle influence, because I've run 4-year-old cows across the scales if they're not able to settle and breed. I'm not going to manipulate one with a lot of drugs just to make it productive when I've got 15-year-old cows in the herd that calve on time with no assistance or intervention on my part. So I've been maybe a little more ruthless with culling and doing my herd that way, but so they've got to be structurally correct and be productive. But that's I really enjoy marketing the cattle and matching people with them. So what I'm looking for in my breeding program is to have a marketable product out there for people, and that's probably what interests me a lot.
Well, I have a lot of goals, but I suppose the prime goal would be to really raise total package cattle. I am not on a single trait hunt or quest. I obviously want cattle that have good horn, but they also have to have good conformation, and they have to have body and frame, muscling, easy fleshing. I think easy keeping is a very valuable trait that people don't pay enough attention to. They have to be fertile. The females have to be good producers, good milkers, good mothers. If they're not, they might as well be a trophy steer, because that's really the only thing that sets a good brood cow apart, is her mothering ability.
And we love trophy steers too.
Yes, we love trophy steers too. My goal is to breed total package cattle. I want the body and the conformation and the horn and the color and the disposition. I just want it all. That's all. But it is important, I think, and as more and more people become familiar with the futurities that we're doing, I think we're seeing that people are paying more attention to the total package, because the size of the futurities and the interest in the futurities is growing at a rapid pace. In addition to that, I think preserving the twist in cattle is something that interests me. I have a lot of twist in my cow families, and I think people are drawn to that. Somebody comes to look at your cattle, if you have a good twisty horn cow, people's eye are always drawn to that, and I think that's a very marketable trait, and I, for one, am interested in preserving that to the best of my ability in my cow herd.
So how did the cow gals come to be? What's the story behind that?
I don't really know that there's a cut and dried story. We kind of met several years ago, and I was thinking about that the other day, but I think it was just kind of being around each other at a few of the events, and then the more we got to visiting, and we found that we had the horse and the cow horse background in common, and just the kind of cattle that we liked, and the fact that we both work our cattle programs pretty much by ourselves. There was just a lot of common things that we had in common, and then we found out that we travel well together, and that's kind of a really, it's hard to find just that right person that you can spend 2 weeks with in and out of a truck and hotels and not have them get under your skin. So
Right.
Nancy, you have anything to add?
Well, I think we have an interesting partnership with the Cowgals. We both are cattle people. We like cattle in general. We have a cattle background, so it's not just Longhorns. We like the cattle business. We like the ranching, and we like farming. We like horses. We like cow horses. We like to be able to work cattle horseback.
we like good cow horses.
We like good cow horses. And that is something that we surely have in common. We're pretty basic people.
Just don't get pickle juice on my chips.
That's right, right. We have some basic rules we have to follow. We both love boots, and we both love hats, and just the Western way of life. And so, we just have a lot of things in common, and the Longhorns are just a really big part of that, but it's not just that.
So you mentioned that you travel well together. What's one event or trip that you haven't taken yet that's on your list that you want to?
For me, that's easy to answer. I would love for us to put the Oregon sale on the list and make a trip. I've never been up to that part of the country. I would love to take that trip and go there and visit everybody and see that part of the country. So that's one that I would like to do.
I'd like to do that as well. I also would be interested in getting out to California and seeing Justin Hansen's program. And another place that I've not been that I would really like to go is I'd love to go down to the King Ranch.
Oh, yeah.
I've not been there, and I really have high regard for Felix Cerna that works there. I think he's a great cattleman, and I would love to go there and just visit, spend some time looking at their cattle.
So with all of this, we're going to play a little game with the two of you. Are you ready?
Sure.
We're gonna test your knowledge of each other, see how much you know about this other cowgal that you're traveling with all over. So we're gonna ask a question, and you guys are gonna hold up what you think
The way the other person would answer.
The first question we have for you is, what are each other's favorite road trip foods?
Favorite road trip foods?
Ready?
Ready.
Gizzards.
Gizzards! We said the same thing.
It's hard to find good ones.
It is hard to find good gizzards. They'll never know we're from Alabama and Arkansas, will they?
The next one is what is your favorite road trip song?
Favorite road trip song?
I didn't narrow it down to a song.
I didn't either. I didn't either.
Any classic country.
Oh, I said any Tom. I think Kathy listens to Tom. She does listen to Tom Petty, and I had any Tom Petty song because she loves Tom Petty.
That's
But we
true.
like,
That's true.
we both like classic country, and I now listen to Tom Petty
Yeah.
also. Now I listen to Tom Petty, which is sort of strange, but. Of course, she gets dressed in the mornings listening to and singing Lady Gaga songs, and people would be surprised to know that.
Would you like to demonstrate?
We could arrange that, I'm sure.
A private showing.
Alright, so since you are sharing hotel rooms and everything all the time, who snores the loudest?
Oh, that's easy.
Oh. What does it say? Nancy. Yes, it's true. It's true. Sorry. Sad but true. We can't all be perfect.
She doesn't snore much. She doesn't snore much.
Alright, this next one. Who drives the fastest?
Oh, that's easy. Who drives the fastest? That's right. That's correct. Just yesterday, following her pulling her trailer with me pulling my trailer, I had to call her on several occasions and say, I cannot see you. You have gone off and left me. Could you please slow down so I could catch up? So it's definitely her that drives the fastest.
Oh.
Who packs more boots?
Oh, that's easy. No,
Oh.
it's a tie. I think it's a
That's
tie. It's a
I go
tie.
along with that.
We both love boots and lots of different boots and different kind of boots. And,
So between the
yeah.
two of you, how many did you pack this trip?
Gosh,
I brought
not as many as we normally
no,
do.
we packed light. I brought 3 pairs.
Yeah, I think I brought
You brought
3 or 4 maybe.
And that's
with the
packing
intention
light.
of buying more. So
Right, that's right. You can always buy
that's-
more.
That's the whole plan.
All right, who takes the longest to get ready?
I thought
Oh.
this one was easy.
I don't have that.
I said it takes the same amount
Oh.
of time.
I think it takes her longer.
What?
Well, it takes you just a little longer to do your hair.
Okay, so I think it was a tie, so in the game. But let's end with, can you share with everyone, like one thing that only you would know about the other person, or one thing that other people would like to know that maybe they don't about the other person?
I'd have to say she likes a lot of cream in her coffee.
That is true, but you like it too. I do have an interesting tidbit about Kathy that a lot of people probably don't know, is that she competed
Oh boy.
professionally as a bodybuilder for a couple of years and actually won Miss Arkansas competition as a bodybuilder.
It's
Awesome.
true.
And a lot of
It's
people
true.
don't know that. But there are pictures and a trophy to prove it. Right. And the other thing is, she likes to cook, and she is an excellent cook. And a lot of people would be surprised by that, I think,
Oh,
because she's
well,
really
that's nice.
she's a good cook.
So is there anything else before we hear Kathy sing Lady Gaga that you guys want to share with other breeders?
I would just say keep it fun. You know, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're not going to stay with it. So it's good to study the pedigrees and be concerned with your marketability of your animals, but you got to have fun too. And that's what's been the best to me about being in the Longhorns, is because it's like a huge extended family.
In addition to that, I'd like to say, because we have a lot of new breeders all the time that are looking to get involved, my advice to them would be to look at a lot of cattle. Go to events, look at as many cattle as you can possibly look at, go and visit as many breeders as you can possibly visit, look at as many herds, as many individuals as you can possibly see, so that you can get a point of reference in the breed, and also so you can determine what type cattle appeal to you and what you want to do with your breeding program. Because that's one of the great things about Longhorns, is there's so many different opportunities for you as a breeder. We don't all have to do the same thing. Longhorn people are so generous with information. Most of them will share their experiences, good and bad, and why not use that opportunity to learn from?
Well, thanks so much, girls. It's been fun.
Oh, thank you. We enjoyed it.